Welcome to Grounding Connection, where we are renaturing in relationship with climate change. Now, this episode is with Kate, who feels disconnected from the entire topic. The quality of the video isn't great, but it's a good session, and I had never met Kate before at all, so I decided to include it. Hi, Kate.
Hi.
So, when we first got on the call, you were pretty up from a long, exciting day of work. And I'm wondering how you're doing now.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good question. I feel quite connected to you, and
Cool.
that has helped me to settle. And
Yeah.
I still feel quite up, and I feel excited
Mhm.
by our call and a little
Mhm.
apprehensive. Um,
Mhm.
and I definitely feel much more in my body and connected with my kind of thinking, feeling
Yeah.
self.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're feeling a little bit more connected, a little bit more settled. How can you actually tell that you feel a little bit more settled?
Yeah, I feel that my energy has come from kind of like here,
Mhm.
and I feel more. I guess the word is grounded, but what actually that means for me is like I feel more like not just here, but I feel the energy and my brain connect with all parts of my body, or certainly
Yeah.
lower down.
Yeah. Oh, so how low? How much further down can you feel now?
Yeah, I'm not sure my legs are included, but I
Yeah.
my chest and my
Yeah.
belly is included,
Yeah.
but
Can
I'm
you feel
not
your
sure.
hips? You can like wiggle
Uh,
them around a little bit if you want.
yeah, I'm not sure if they're included in my grounded
Mm.
self. I think it's like head to belly. I think
Yeah.
it's like this part of me
Yeah.
to my belly. I'm not sure if I ever go further.
Interesting.
But maybe I do, and it's like I'm just not aware of it. I'm not sure.
Absolutely possible. Yeah. It's just interesting. I'm always curious about what people's experience of groundedness feels like. For a long time, I had no somatic experience of groundedness. And so I'm always interested in what other people experience.
Yes, it's like people say, or put your feet flat on the floor and
Yeah.
connect with the ground or the earth. And I'm not sure that quite does it for me. I think I
Yeah.
come into connection with another person and with myself that
Hmm.
far.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I love it. So Kate, we were talking about what is mm, up for you. What feels the most important for you as an issue or as a current thought process around climate change. And I was wondering if you could just say a little bit about where you're at right now when you think about climate change.
I think, to be honest, I've been quite disconnected to the
Mm,
idea of climate change,
yeah. How long has that been
which
going on?
forever.
Yeah.
um, I think I thought that it was something that others felt. I work
Uh,
in the outdoors,
uh,
and I have had a very deep connection to nature all throughout my
mm,
life.
mhm,
And so it's something that I should feel.
mhm,
And I have, I dissociated, disconnected from, I think.
mhm,
as this term has become more and more of our current thinking and
Yeah.
rhetoric, I guess. However, I think getting your invitation to this school, I
Yeah.
started to notice, some patterns in my life, and I think my disconnection to nature over the last kind of 4 years, um,
Mm.
in particular. So I used to teach wilderness skills that I called earth skills,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to spend a lot of time in nature, and I do by most people's standards. I spend many hours in nature every day, working and for leisure. Um, but that is significantly less, or the quality of my interactions with nature
Mm.
have changed a lot. I'm much more
Mm.
interested in participating in nature, riding my bike or going for a run, and I find sit spots which I used to just love being and sitting, being in
Yeah.
nature, camping on my own, or
What Kate just referred to as sit spots are the way that it was taught to me years ago is finding a place, and it's often the same place, so that you can get to know a very specific place and just sitting quietly um, in your yard or the edge of pond or in the middle of the deep woods or wherever. And after about 20 minutes of sitting there quietly, um, the the wildlife around you gets acclimated to you being there, and they start to behave more normally. So it becomes a practice of doing sit spots. But that's what she's referring to.
spending time in a hut, that I built, for example, a shelter. Um, it used to be how I wanted to spend all my time, and I don't do that
Mm.
anymore. And so I wondered if my disconnect from this way of being in the world is
Mhm.
linked to the pain that I feel around climate change. So I think I bring like a
Mm.
meta perspective of, um, I, I, I think I'm worried about all of it. All of it. I'm worried. I work with teenagers with mental health issues.
Mhm.
I'm so incredibly worried about the young people and how they're going to live. I have two children, two young children, and
Mhm.
myself. I'm so concerned.
Yeah. So if I can pause you for just a second, because you got into juicy stuff there for a sec, and I want to make sure. How you doing right now? You're worried about these teenagers. You're worried about your kids, young people in general. It's a lot.
How am I doing? I feel like, uh,
Yeah. Notice those
yeah.
shoulders. Your neck just disappeared completely.
Oh God, I feel uncomfortable. I feel a churning in my stomach. I feel despairing. I feel like I feel myself talking faster. I feel my head get busy.
Yeah. What if you pay attention to the churning in your stomach? Is it
I'd rather
okay to
not.
pay attention to that?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is. But like this is
Pausing again. Yeah, the quality of this video and even the audio that goes with it is tough. Um, but the kind of the outcome of this session is really fascinating in the way that Kate changes throughout the session. So if you can muscle through the fact that it ain't great, see what happens.
this is what happens
Hmm.
on my own, is that
It
I
is.
don't pay attention, and so I move on to something else rather than
Yeah.
pay
Yeah.
attention. So which is why I
And
don't
that
feel
is
time.
definitely self-protective, right?
Mhm.
Your nervous system is steering you well. If we stay with that
Absolutely.
churning for just a few more seconds, we don't have to stay for long.
I'm okay to stay with. I was just, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
But
just
your
explaining,
automatic
yeah.
response was a gut response. No. No, I don't want to.
It's like humor, isn't it? It's like I can distract, I can deviate, I
Exactly.
can,
Absolutely.
and absolutely, it doesn't feel like I won't, or I'm not willing to hear. So
Yeah.
yes,
So, where in your stomach? Is it up high? Is it down low?
yeah, it's lower my stomach, and I actually feel a bit of tingling in my legs as well.
Ah,
Interesting.
holy
I
moly.
know the
The
legs are
legs.
here.
Yeah. So it's churning low in your stomach. How much space does it take up?
Can't quite. It's like quite small, but actually, it's like a deep cavern as well.
Mm.
So it doesn't actually take up very much space, but if I follow it, like goes into a deep.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not follow it. We don't need to go into the deep chasm.
Fine by me.
We can just look at the fact that it's pretty small right there and it expands. And so we can just stay a little further back and just notice it. And how are your legs? Are they still tingling?
Yeah, they're definitely engaged in process. I find myself rubbing them a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
So go ahead and rub them and see how does that help it? Does it change it?
I'm not sure if it's like, I think it does help it, but then I guess that movement, that agitation, um, brings like anxiety kind of higher up now. So
Mm,
then, because my arms are
yeah.
engaged as well,
Yep. Yep.
um, then I've got like movement here, and I've
Yep.
got like a bit of kind of anxiety in my head now.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you have a dog right to your right, right?
Oh, he's gone to bed now.
Oh, he's gone to
It's a little bit
bed.
further away.
Can you see him?
Yeah, I can see him.
Yeah. Can you tell me about him?
Oh,
You're looking at him. He's like, "Hi. What do you need, mom?"
he's sneezing. He's um he's actually quite a handful, if I'm
Mm.
honest.
Mhm.
I have two dogs,
Mhm.
and one is a wonderful therapy dog that comes to work with me,
Mhm.
and Bo's in training to be a
Mhm.
therapy dog. So he has he has his own issues and can become easily agitated as
Mhm.
well, with no apparent warning. Well, he can just
Mhm.
become easily triggered. Um,
Mhm.
he's not sleeping right now.
So what do you do when he gets agitated and nervous and wound up?
Yeah. Um, at the moment, um, yeah, I at the moment I offer him a lot of love. I offer him some
Mm.
structure, um,
Mhm.
and quite a lot of love and support actually.
Mhm. Mhm. How does he respond to that?
If he hasn't flipped over into like being too, what is that word? Too hyper stimulated.
Mhm.
If he's flipped over, then that takes him longer to calm down. But if I catch him quick enough,
Mhm.
then um, I can bring him back, and we can get back into connection.
Yeah. Yeah. And how does it feel for you when you catch him quick enough and you can
I love it.
bring him down? You love it?
I feel like I'm succeeding, and
Yeah.
that he's getting better, and that
Yeah.
he can manage better, and that he will have a better life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wonderful to be able to give somebody you love a better life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you can come back to your body for a minute, how are you feeling right now? What are you
Hmm.
noticing?
Like just a little bit energized all through my
Mhm.
body. So I feel like more like all my body feels quite awake.
Mm, interesting. Yeah.
Hmm.
And it was getting to be unpleasant. How is it now? I'm putting words in your mouth. You never said that.
No, I did say uncomfortable,
There we go. Mhm.
and um, I think it feels like edgy, like awake, but like,
Mhm.
okay, what's coming next? Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, and what if you were to ask your body, if your body could talk, what would it say it wants to come next?
Like no, that was my head.
Mm.
Mm. So what's coming to me is comfort, is relaxation, is like gentleness, like the hot bath type
Yeah. Yeah.
experience,
Yeah.
the balm, the soothing.
Yeah.
But my head, I gotta get that in. Um, I'm really interested to explore this process,
Mhm.
and what's going on
Yeah.
for me. So
And if I told you that this is the process,
yeah.
instead of pushing beyond, if that gets to be, if there's uh uncomfortable, we don't have to go there. We can do this without going beyond. You were just talking about your dog, right? When it
Hmm.
flips to beyond where you can bring it back from, that's all we're doing,
Hmm.
right? Like, oop, we were potentially right on the edge. You better than I do, right? This is the
Hmm.
first time we've ever met. But, you know, we didn't want to go to where some containment, some love, like a bunch of love, we want that to be helpful still,
Yeah.
right? And if we get too much in your mind, if you're anything like me, as the energy and anxiety gets up into your mind, the mind takes off and you're gone, right?
Yeah.
So we just brought you back just a little bit.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And then now I can ask you, how old are your kids right
They
now?
are 10 and 12.
Okay. I'm curious what happened 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. So I guess it had been, I guess there were like some external factors. Like, I guess have felt for a long time that there are so many pulls into the modern world,
Mm.
pulls towards consumerism.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder if, like, I just stepped over that line, and, maybe with my kids getting older, even though they are desperate to spend more time in nature. My eldest son currently has a fascination with skulls and spends his free time like looking for bones in the forest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very
I remember
successfully.
doing that.
He has a lot now. Um,
Yeah.
and so the interest is there from them.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel bad that I'm not that I actually hold a lot of skills to share
Mm-hmm.
with my children that I haven't. That
Mm.
doesn't answer your question. What happened? Yeah, so I wonder about the consumerism bit. Also, um, I there was like a cultural piece that I always wanted to teach the wilderness skills at a deeper level. I wanted a community, and people wanted to learn the skills at beginner level, and I taught the skills at beginner level for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I got disheartened
Mm-hmm.
that, and my skills got more rusty rather than
Mm-hmm.
keep getting, so I felt despair.
Yeah.
And
Can you feel that despair now at all?
yeah, yeah, I feel I feel incredible frustration and hopelessness
Mm.
that
Yeah.
these skills of like of deep nature connection that is beyond like naming that was a
Right.
whatever bird, um to like that bird is building its nest and it's got 4 chicks and it's working so hard, or it's,
Yeah.
it just fell out of its nest in the storm, or like the really in-depth pieces. I
Mm-hmm.
feel disheartened that these skills are being lost rather than
Mm-hmm.
as a society. I don't feel that we're gaining more knowledge but less knowledge of these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. And if all anybody wants to learn are the beginner skills and not more,
It's
then
an
that sounds,
investment.
hmm?
It's an investment of a massive amount
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah.
I've got like a burning in my heart as I thought is quite distracting.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
It feels like the hot sun, but it doesn't feel sunny.
Mm-hmm.
Like orange radiating out, throbbing
Mm-hmm.
in my chest.
Is it
As it,
where your heart is?
I think it's like it feels central in my
Mm-hmm.
chest. At heart
Mm-hmm.
height feels central. Yes, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how big? You keep using like your
Uh,
fist because that's what we have, right?
yeah,
But
yeah. I go with fist
yeah,
size.
radiating
Or
heat, about fist size, middle of your chest. Yeah,
maybe a bit bigger.
maybe a little bit bigger than your fist. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the sun, but not like the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not like the sun. Yeah, like burning, fiery. Um, yeah.
What uh, the question that wanted to pop out of my mouth may or may not be useful. What does it want to burn?
I think it, yeah, I don't know. It's an expression of maybe anger, a frustration,
Mm,
despair, hopelessness. It's not at anyone. It's not pointing the
ah,
finger.
yeah,
It's here.
yeah, yeah. And yet it's obviously uncomfortable. It's distracting. It's not something that's particularly helpful or pleasing to you. Yeah. What else comes as you're paying attention to that?
Yeah, it kind of goes as I
Mm.
as I pay attention to it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Does
kind of.
anything else come up to grab your attention?
No, I think what's happened in my being is that I've moved on. Actually, I've kind of shut down.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that feels done. I'm ready to move on,
Yeah.
which I appreciate. Like that's my process rather than what I want to happen.
Right. Right. Which we were possibly catching earlier. right? When it was all the activation in your body, we might have caught that. You might have been able to go further. And then this one was a little bit quicker on the draw than we were, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that sums it up well.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me, so you've I was going to ask you to feel your feet on the floor because it's such a thing that everybody asks about, right? And until very, no, it's still not particularly helpful for me. But if you feel your feet on the floor, we'll go through that anyway. Do you have shoes on?
I do. Well,
Okay.
I've got some cozy slippers on. Does that count
Hmm.
as
Are they easy to slip off?
I could do?
Okay. So if you
But
slip
then I have
off,
cold feet.
yes. Well, we can put them back in the cozy slippers shortly. Do you have a hard floor or do you
I
have
do, yeah,
carpeting?
I've got wooden floors.
Lovely. So if you feel with your cold toes the wooden floor,
Hmm.
can you just really notice the boards? Like you
Hmm.
can move your toes around, feel the boards, the edges. Yeah. Can you imagine that you can feel the wood grain?
Yeah,
Yeah. And can you feel that that wood grain is part of or is part of an old tree? Can you feel that that's
yeah.
there?
I'd rather not. Interesting. That's what comes up for me.
Yeah, I'd rather not. Instead, you can feel the boards and the wood grain and the support that
I,
it gives you.
yeah. I think if I think of you know, when I think of the tree and the grain,
Mhm.
I feel that loss.
We're feeling the loss. There's a lot of loss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like a beautiful beech tree. And these floors were recycled. I don't know if you guys have this, but like our old gym halls
Mhm.
were all used to have wooden floors in the UK, and so these boards were recycled from a gym floor. They came from Glasgow, um, and um, and you know, like I wonder how old that tree
Mhm.
was,
Mhm.
and how long ago it was felled to mill these
Mhm.
boards to go into this gym hall, and then like, wow, imagine all the little boys and girls like in their
Yeah.
gym outfits in like the 19 whatevers, like the 1950s,
Yeah.
1960s, 1970s, like doing their gym classes, like their somersaults or whatever people
Mhm.
did in gym in
Mhm.
that time. And like the world has changed so much since
Mhm.
this tree and what it saw for like God, what would it have been like 100 years old
Mhm.
before, maybe even older
Yeah.
before that.
Yeah.
Like that's some amazing history.
Here, we had run into this place where Kate kind of shut down, or that's what she perceived, that she had gotten that hot place in her chest had uh, just kind of gone over the edge, and she shut down. And so, although we worked into this place, which is a complete tangent. What it is it's bringing up her interest and her curiosity and her. Um, it's a place where she didn't want to go into where the boards came from and the trees that had to be cut down in order for them to um, be used in the gym and then in her house, but just the difference in engagement um, is what I was looking for. Yeah, and the world has
And
changed so much since then.
the world has changed,
Yeah.
and I feel incredible sadness.
Check in. Is it okay to feel this sadness, or is it too much?
I do feel like I might cry. It's fine. It's
Yeah, yeah. Tears are welcome.
and now I've named it, I won't, hopefully.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever ends up happening. But yeah, yeah, that sadness for what was and what has changed and what
Yeah,
can't be again. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So you were feeling some tears. How else do you feel the sadness right now, Kate?
I feel like, yeah, like the front of my face, like sorrow,
Yeah,
like not quite tension, just like heavy and dull.
heavy and dull sorrow.
Yeah,
Anything else?
that's the main, yeah, that's the main area.
Yeah, yeah. If this is too much, we don't have to go there. Does going out and doing wilderness stuff now remind you of the same stuff? How much things have changed?
Not consciously. No. It's it's just a like I have no interest.
Mhm.
I have I would just prefer to go for a walk or a run or ride my mountain bike or whatever. I move at a faster pace
Mhm.
rather than maybe feel these feelings. So
Mm.
not consciously, but I
Those are some
wonder if
pretty overwhelming feelings. I'd probably run away from them.
yeah, I've studied this stuff, and I've sat with the trees, and it was beautiful, and it was my life for many years.
Yeah. And I'm not like constructing a narrative, right? This could be completely different, right? But you've mentioned that it was your life for many years connecting with these trees, connecting with the wilderness, the forest, nature. And it sounds like you got burnt out on teaching the same basics to people who just wanted the basics. And that's a symptom of our times, right? We
Mm.
don't have to delve very far into anything. We just get a little bit.
Mm.
How does
That was
that resonate
definitely,
with you, or is there anything
yeah,
what am I
yeah,
missing?
that was definitely my cognitive thinking around stopping teaching, and other stuff came up in its
Mhm.
place as well, which was
Sure.
another factor.
Mhm.
Um, but even when groups meet who do have energy, I don't
Mhm.
go. I haven't been.
So what happens if you try on the possibility that um you changed and that's not you anymore?
I think I just find it confusing that something that was my passion
Mhm.
for the whole of my life
Mhm.
suddenly doesn't feel like my passion. It doesn't feel that makes sense. It doesn't feel right.
And
That
it doesn't feel right. Is that cognitive or is that somatic? What does your body say?
so my body is just not like it's not a like it's just like nah, I'm not going to go. Just not going to go. And so my mind goes, "Why aren't you going?" And my body goes, "No, just don't want to."
Huh. I just don't want to. And there's nothing after that. Okay. What if we just allow your body to have that? It can have that opinion. I just don't want to. What's going on for you?
I'm listening to, it's not my body, but I'm listening to like, it was a beautiful day in Scotland today. Oh, by the time I got home, there's like a huge storm going on, and I'm listening to the wind outside.
Yes.
Very noisy and
Yes.
it's coldish. And I'm like, why would I want to? Why would I want to go out there? Like my body's totally fine in front of this screen
Yeah.
in my cozy slippers with my central heating on.
Yeah. So my body says, hell yeah. I love that description. Why would I want to go out there? Right?
But there's something that's not right for me
Mm.
because I think behind that there's some sadness that I don't listen
Mhm.
to.
Mhm.
It doesn't make sense in terms of my story. It's just my body's suddenly gone. No.
Mm. That sudden part is so interesting to me.
It is, and it was, it was over, I guess it was over a couple of years. I don't really, but it did feel like, 42 years of being desperate just to be outside.
Mhm.
And then the last 4 years of no. Like I do spend time outside, but
Yeah,
I
yeah. Yeah, yeah, of course.
gardening or
Mhm.
doing,
Mhm.
not not just wanting to be.
Mhm. Can you contact that no? I just don't want to be out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it feel like?
Okay. I don't even know the pronouns. Like he and she feels like kind of a bit like fuzzy. They seem to be on like in the back half of my body, and it's just
Mhm.
like fuzziness.
Mm. What else is back there? You just let the images come beyond your fuzzy shoulders.
It's dark, it's grey, it's like it's nothingness as
Mhm.
well. It's not like thing, it's just like just feels like it's empty space, like no.
Mm.
It's not a force like a no, like slamming on the brakes or the stop sign. It's like, nah, like just aren't, won't.
Can't, won't. Yeah. Fuzziness,
Not sure.
gray, dark. Hmm? Sorry, say.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's hard because the image kind of comes and goes, and it's
Hmm.
like I'm not sure. I'm not sure it totally describes the feeling. I think you're right. I think there is something else there, but I can't access, or I'm
Yeah.
not able to access it in this moment because it's like it doesn't quite describe the quality
Yeah.
of the no.
Yeah. Is there an emotion that goes with it?
I think this week I'm still with the tree, and I think I'm with all the emotions that we've been talking about: the sadness, the hopelessness, the despair, the uncomfortableness. I think it's I'm still with all of them. It feels like it's all of them.
Mm. And then just this no.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not angry because it's like um it's too much. It's too the loss of the tree and all the trees, of the the change, the impact on people. It's too much to say, to 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 do anything about.
Hmm. Is it so you were talking about when you go outside now, you do things. You
Right,
never
yeah,
go
also
to just be. So all
yeah, and
of
also
those
my
feelings,
job is, yeah,
right,
my job is conservation work as well. Like
right.
I actually do do things. I plant
Yeah.
trees, I cut down invasive species, I fix footpaths and whatever with teenagers. So
Awesome.
like I absolutely uh, do these
Yeah.
things. But
And what
for
you s
me
yeah.
personally,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like this is what I feel that I don't let out because my job is to to go and plant trees and
Yeah.
do these things, and of course they're fine cognitively, they're all good things to do, but I
Yeah.
think that underneath that,
Mhm.
how I then spend my time
Mhm.
isn't doing what I used to do, as
Mhm.
in being in nature.
Yeah. It sounds like all of those things. I'm not gonna go through the litany because we don't need to pull them back up again. Usually I would, and I'm not going to right now. That's too much to be with. And now you're not just going out into nature to be. I wonder if there's a link there. It's too painful, it's overwhelming to just be, especially there. How does that
Yes,
feel?
and yeah, and so, oh, excuse me. excuse excuse you.
What's their name?
This is Piccolo.
Piccolo. I used to play one of those.
Mm, yes.
Oh, Piccolo is little.
Piccolo is little. So
She looked a lot bigger when she was walking directly in front of the camera.
she is a little, yes, she's little. We did have a Mr. Pickles, but he met a sticky end.
Mm.
unfortunately,
Mhm.
at a young age, and my son couldn't cope, so we got a little piccolo um, quite soon afterwards. Um, I've lost track after my
Mm.
visit.
Cats are
Piccolo.
awesome. Sometimes they're just like the timing on animals is just great. Um,
She's gone now. She's completely left the room.
mhm. So I was suggesting that there was something about just being, especially in nature, that would bring up all of this storm of feelings of despair and hopelessness and anxiety and gut clenching and chest and sorrow, right? That's and the fuzziness in the shoulders, right? The just the no, right? Like that's it's too much to be with. And if you go out there that reminds you of all of these things, to just be instead of do,
Yeah,
then I think something that sparked something in your brain.
I'm not sure what that was, but yeah, that makes
So it makes
that
cognitive
feels.
sense, right?
Yeah,
I was just
yeah,
wondering about how your
yeah,
body feels about it. Our
yeah.
brains are fabulous. We can make anything work.
Hmm. I've got a I've got a cognitive thought. So like I guess I was thinking that's sad if that's
It is
true.
sad. It is sad. I don't have something
Yeah.
soothing and wonderful to say.
That's all right. My dog's arrived now. I'm stroking him.
Perfect. Feel the fur, feel the warmth,
Yes.
feel the solidness. Just really like take comfort if this is the therapy dog or the in training.
This is the in training dog, but he's come to connect and, and sweetness is
We love connection. We love sweetness.
very
Mom, you're
sweet.
doing stuff that's very hard for you. You don't need to do that alone. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Co
It's either that or
regulation
chase.
for the win.
Yeah, yeah. It's either that or his impulse was to chase the cat who's now left. So
Mm, mm,
he came and checked in instead.
yeah. How you doing as you are petting the dogger?
I'm all right. So I'm doing better. I guess I'm I guess I'm sad to be working through this and admitting this to myself.
Yeah. And is it okay for that sadness to be there?
Oh, yeah, that feels like quite an impactful question. Yeah, not really,
Mm,
because I think sadness, I think the deeper feeling is hopelessness.
mhm,
And that has bigger implications on
mhm,
me and how I feel and what I do in the world and all my life choices.
mm,
Um, there's an there's an urgency to do something different to make things better for the planet. And I've given up, actually. Yeah, I tried and I feel like I've given up.
That's the moment right there, folks. I don't know if she's admitted that to herself before, but that's a tough one to come to. So we have a little bit more time in the session here to see how it wraps up.
I'm smiling because actually I'm crying.
Hmm. Yes, I see that. It's how life works, huh? I smile because I can hide my tears. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
So if I let in that sadness, I don't know, it doesn't feel helpful
Mm.
because I'm already doing my best.
Yeah, you are. How do you know you're doing your best?
I guess through the choices that I made about how I bring up my children,
Mm-hmm.
what I do for a living,
Mm-hmm.
um, I see the impact of, of what I do, and I'm comfortable. I do feel good about that. I
Yeah.
let that in. I let that
Yeah.
in because that keeps me above the sadness,
Mm-hmm.
keeps me afloat.
So it sounds like you've been doing a great job. Your nervous system has been taking care of you. It's just a no. It's just a no. Fuzzy, gray, black, dark, shoulder blades, and more, right? No, that's too much. That's sadness, hopelessness, despair. Mm-mm. I'm doing everything I can right now.
Uh, I don't think I'm doing everything I can. I think if I let in the sadness and the hopelessness,
Mm.
I would do something different.
Mm. I wonder if there's a way to let that in without it drowning you.
I think that would be healthy. I think that would be true. I, I think that would be authentic rather than having these defenses
Mm-hmm.
going
Mm-hmm.
on.
Yeah. And you have mad skills all by yourself. You work as a psychotherapist. What would you tell what would you tell a client that was struggling with this stuff?
I don't know right now. I think I'm just like so embroiled in my process
Mhm.
in this moment that that's a whole different side of my brain. That's like the performing side of my brain. Don't ask that. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
uh,
That's a
I like
completely fair response. Yeah.
yeah that um
You don't have to go there. You don't have to switch
okay
responses. No, it's okay. No
okay
switching channels. You're good.
okay
Um from my perspective, right? If because this is a one-off, um or at least, you know, this is the thing. Um I would there's no neat package, there's no neat bow, right? If you were a client, I'd probably um you know, prop you up to go on at the
yeah
moment, right? And then we would just work on it a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time, however much you could handle when we were actually talking.
hmm
Because yeah, it's too much. Yeah, you don't want to be doing this. Yeah, you think that you could do more, Can you do more alone? Can you handle all of that alone with the tools that you have?
I
Just
think it's
curious.
like a young person's job. I feel like I'm in a different life stage,
Yeah.
and I think that was my early 20s to
Mm-hmm.
work out like
Mm-hmm.
how do I live uh,
Mm-hmm.
in connection, having least impact and making most positive
Yeah.
change. And I did my calculation, and I I, I trained, and I uh, did that practical work, and obviously I'm not at the hopefully not at the end of my life either, but I don't feel like I have the capacity
Mm-hmm.
to kind of go, okay, right, how am I going to completely, it feels like a complete reinvention
Mm-hmm.
to go, okay, well, what are we facing now? And are these
Mm-hmm.
decisions differently? I don't feel like I have the energy to do that. So I've like sunk into this place of like sunk. I don't know, like
You're working within your capacity now, it sounds like, and you're helping the next generation of people get their best start
mhm,
or repairs to go forward and do their work.
yeah, yeah.
How's that set with you?
Still with this sinking feeling. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it feels interesting to acknowledge this place, not from a
Mm-hmm.
place of like, oh, I can't cope, but more from a place of, oh, this is what is going on for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess kind of bringing the unconscious into my
Mm-hmm.
belly of like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't
Feel.
have to do anything with it. It'll do it all by
Mhm,
itself at this point. We just brought it up. And you
mhm.
have great coping mechanisms. You have great tools and you've made it this far, right? So once that stuff is up, it often works a little bit before it goes back down again.
I believe that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to connect with you.
Yeah. If you were moved by this episode in any way, take a minute. If you have the freedom, don't jump into the next thing. We absorb the goodness of our feelings after the fact, so pause if you can. Don't forget to do the things that every YouTuber tells you to do, like, subscribe, comment. I'd love for this series to reach the people it will impact the most, and it can't do that if they never find it. Take care of yourself.